All personnel, please evacuate to the nearest lot and report to your supervisor.
My friends, to a new interview. Moncho from Cuentame, USA. We're going to have a very special conversation or interview, whatever you want to call it. It has nothing to do with me. It's regarding this beautiful, we can say a great band from Washington, D.C., the capital. This is for the people in Spain. They don't know where Washington, D.C. They probably know where it is, so forget it. They know. It's from Washington, D.C. It's a dark wave, dreamy, gothic, and more band. And today we have 3 of the 4 members, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
That's right.
So we're going to speak with, we got Rebecca Feng, right?
Yep.
Right. And then we got Brian Wolf.
That's me.
And then we have Tim Phillips.
That's me, yeah.
The synth player. I didn't say about Rebecca. She's a vocalist and plays the violin. I think she plays the piano, but she doesn't want to show it, so she plays the violin. And then we have the other vocalist is Brian Wolf, and also plays the guitar. Does a great job. So we have the 3 of them. Sunday is beautiful evening. And I don't understand why they're here. They should be able to be in the park riding a bicycle or something, but they're here. Okay. So how are you guys? Tell me. I believe you were practicing or you were going to practice. Tell me just to start, Tell me.
I'm doing great. They were just setting up cables just now, so they're in the cable management mode state of mind.
Working through some technical stuff, some technical problems.
Yeah, we're not encountering too many difficulties right now, aren't you? No.
It's part of music.
Part of music, right?
Okay. And also, we're driving 9 hours to go play this festival, so we want to think of every possible point of failure and be ready for it.
Right.
Because we don't want to be helpless when we're in Louisville.
Right. They know what they're doing, They've been playing for a while. So we're going to start with, I don't know, maybe Rebecca.
Okay.
You are a trained violinist, and you were very young. You went to, I don't know if you went to the Conservatory of Music or classical music. How did you start playing a violin? Any family members playing violin?
Nope. In fact, my dad wouldn't buy me a violin. And when I was 6, I actually really wanted a violin because I listened to this piece of, someone gave me a cassette tape that had the I never know how to pronounce this. Dvorak's violin. I forgot which piece. It was F major. Anyways, the one that's really funny but emotional at the same time. So I definitely remember there was a moment when I heard that. I was like, wow, I need to play the violin. And then it took me many years to convince my dad to buy me a violin. So that was the origin story. But I had a baby piano when I was 4, so just always loved musical instruments. I think my first toy was a little truck, and my second toy was that baby piano. I've just always loved musical instruments, and I play the piano too, and I play the cello. And I eventually, when I retire, I hope to have a music room full of instruments, and I really want to buy a harp one day.
And you want to have a school to teach other people, like training how to play, open like some kind of. I was going to ask you also, you're the vocalist, but do you have any vocal? Do you have any vocal coaches or training, or it was you learn just by yourself because you do a beautiful job with your
Oh, thanks. The
vocals?
two of us took some classes, but
Yes.
that was it.
Mm. Well, from a truck to a piano, it's a big difference. Let me tell you.
You're still yet to drive a truck, so
That's true.
that's still one of her dreams. One day she'll drive a truck.
Well, I want to fly a plane. I took one pilot lesson and really loved it.
A truck driver is okay. If you have like a CDL license, you can carry all your instruments and everything in the trailer and you drive it.
Yeah, that would be good for the band.
Right. They will be very happy if you could do that.
Yeah.
Let me explain to this. I found out about the two members. I don't know much about Pimp, but I know the two of them are neuroscientists. Like I know what they are. Neuroscientists. I know they studied the brain structures. I don't know. And it's chemistry, maybe. I don't know. I don't know much about that.
Pretty close.
Very close. You know, I have no much knowledge about it, but I don't know. I guess they're raising the level of my channel just by being here to neuroscience, you know. So, do you guys work for the government? I read, but I might be mistaken. So I just want to ask you: do you guys do you work in a laboratory, in an office? Where do you guys work?
So we work at the National Institutes of Health.
Oh,
We're
okay.
federal officers. Let's just leave it at that.
Something like that.
But nothing we say is the official position of the U.S. government.
Yeah, we don't represent the government at the moment.
No deep government agency around here. Nothing to do with those. For the loonies, forget it. It's nothing to do with that. I'm pretty sure. Brian, you play the guitar. I don't know. I don't think you started that young to play the guitar. Wasn't music when you were a little, like a teenager? Was music in your radar, or you just loved listening to music, but you never had the will to want to learn how to play an instrument and be in a band? Nothing like that when you were younger?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically right. You know, growing up as a kid, I always liked music a lot. But I don't know why. Just kind of inertia, I guess. I never really picked up an instrument and learned how to play. And was always too shy to sing and stuff. But when I was 19, I think I finally picked up a guitar. And that was actually a big turning point in my life, I think, when I started playing music. It really inspired me a lot. So I played a lot and learned quickly and started playing in bands and stuff. So, yeah. But I never took any lessons or anything. Self-taught.
Guys, these guys are smart. I tried playing guitar for many years. I just left. I said maybe I should play tennis. It's much better for me.
But you have a keyboard in your office.
Yeah, I see something there.
Yeah, I got a keyboard, but that's for my daughter.
Oh.
I just put it that I don't play anything. I just pretend. I'm a fake. This is decoration for me. I try all the instruments, but I'm really bad at them. So.
But you clearly have good taste in music.
Of course, I'm talking to you. I know how to choose my bands. At least I do.
That's right. That's your talent.
Yeah, I must be talented about that. How about you, Tim? You are like a big addition to the band. I know you were. They were as soon as you got in, they said, "This is the band. He cannot be."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I've always played keyboards and synths, and I guess ever since I was a teen, and before that, I saw videos of live bands on MTV, like Duran Duran was one of those bands I remembered seeing Nick Rhodes behind his keyboards on stage. He was surrounded by keyboards and computers, and I thought that looked awesome, and that's why I always wanted to kind of get into keyboards. I never took lessons or anything. I just started to learn songs and got like a family keyboard at home to play around on, and then once I discovered the Cure, I got into songwriting and composing, and really got me deep into getting into more and more music, and I guess always kind of shaped where I was into with, sort of the alternative rock scene in the mid late '80s and so forth, and college radio, and then just through the years, I've had bands, several bands over my lifetime, and then it just so happened that during the lockdown and the pandemic in 2020, these lovely folk were starting and working on a new album, and they said, "Hey, we played a show together with another band of mine called 51 Peg, and we met through that." And they said, "Hey, we've never had a keyboardist. Would you want to join and finish the record with us?" So I guess that was really kind of, I had some free time during the lockdown, so we just changed everything online for a long time, and we worked on the album together, and that's the album Vampyre album, which is
I want to be sincere. I think for me it's the best of the.
Thank you.
I always do that, I'm gonna say all the three I love, but the Vampyre album is the one that made me call you.
Thank you so much.
And I love your T-shirt, the Sigur Rós T-shirt.
Oh,
Love
yeah,
Sigur
yeah.
Rós.
We're all huge fans.
You want a prize? I'll send you something later.
We are big fans and influence, and I know we didn't really necessarily. I mentioned Duran Duran and the Cure, but I think one of the great things when I was joining the band and talking about joining is that we found we had a lot of similar influences, and coming from the same, I guess the same background of music that we like, Pink Floyd and some of and then Sigur Rós, and like some bands where it's a little more drawn out and a little more atmospheric and ethereal, and that certainly shows up, we think, in the album.
Yeah. I believe Pink Floyd. I hear in some of those songs you play a little Pink Floyd, like me early Pink Floyd, maybe. I don't know.
I love Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
The big inspiration to play guitar for me was Dave Gilmour.
Dave Gilmour. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and well, there are so many influences that you got your own identity. So there's so many, and all the bands that I love, Susie and the Banshees.
Yeah.
The Cure and Duran Duran. Let me tell you, Tim, it wasn't they were too pretty for me. You know what I'm saying? I love the Sailboat though, when they were. No, there were songs that I like. Susie and the Banshees for me was one of my, I'm an old guy. I got my hair disappeared a long time ago. But in the 80s, 70s and 80s, Susie and the Banshees was my favorite band. I was young. So I have a story, but maybe I should tell it, just they get bored. I don't know. I was born in a little, very fishing small town in Spain, right? Very, very small, not too many things to do. But they got very nice restaurants and bars. In the late 70s, that's when everything started to appear, because before it was all regional folkloric music from Spain and the dictatorship and this and that. So when everything started to show up, all these records, I used to go to my grandfather went to a bar with his friends and drink and that, like a weekend thing. So I used to go there. They had a nice pinball machine and they had a jukebox with some records. And I was young, so I didn't know much about music, only the Who, the Rolling Stones, but nothing like different than that. So they had on the wall little singles with bands and stuff, and you could choose and put your coin and press K1, and that was it. So I saw a band, Susie and the Banshees, from the '78 album, and they had the Hong Kong Garden and Voices, the single. So I had no idea who they are. Let me see. I like the thing. I put it on, and after that, I was, I heard Voices, and that guitar riff, and then I was like every day putting a coin just to listen to that song. I didn't care about anything else. So after that, everything else showed up for me. So I know it's a big influence for you guys, and I can see it too. So it's a story, but no big deal. It's just a little.
Oh, it's a great story.
I was a young guy, and that's how you started listening to the music and all these bands. So I was going to ask you, any of you guys had any family members playing in music, or you were the first ones to be in a band?
First for me, yeah.
First, right?
Yeah,
Nobody else chose music as a part-time? Not even a part-time.
I guess not.
Yes, not. And you are, the three of you, are you from the Washington, D.C. area? Are you from Washington, D.C.? The three of you?
Yeah, I'm closer to Baltimore than, but I mean that's 40 minutes away from Washington, so it's effectively we're all in the same area.
Yeah, we're in what's called the DC metro area, so we're actually technically in Maryland, but there's the DC city itself, and then there are all these suburbs. We're in the Kensington suburb, if anyone knows what that is.
I know. I was there.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And our drummer lives in Alexandria.
Okay, so let's say when did this band started? Then I'm thinking you met Brian in 2010 in school, in grad school. Is that more or less?
Yeah, Rebecca and I
met each
getting our doctorates in neuroscience.
But you weren't thinking about playing music together at that time, right? Not yet.
Just kind of casually.
Yeah, so we were in the same PhD program in neuroscience. And for some reason, all of our friends knew that I played music, and they knew that Brian played music, but we didn't know that I didn't know that Brian played music. So then one time we were both at this party, and then one of our friends was like, "Oh, you guys need to talk to each other." And we were the only two people in our PhD program that played music.
Right.
So that we started a band, and naturally it became the Neuro Farm. It was a dorky name, but just nothing.
Who chose the name?
Oh yeah, that was me.
Oh, that was you, Brian?
Yeah.
I like it.
I chose it like long before the band. I always wanted to be in a band called the Neuro Farm for some reason. Just when I was in college, I really enjoyed neuropharmacology classes, which you'd call Neuro Farm, and then I thought the Neuro Farm, but with an F instead of a PH, and then it's like farm brains or something. So I always thought it'd be kind of cool sci-fi, but it is kind of dorky too.
Yeah, like neuroscientists tend to come up with, neuroscience-y band names, and there's another band called CA.
CA.
Yeah, wasn't corpus callosum? It was another.
Well, there's the amygdaloids.
Oh yeah, they're the amygdaloids. These are like different brain structures.
Yeah.
Tim, these people, forget it. If you were, you would change the name right away.
But Tim is very brainy, so
Yeah, I'm just a big nerd, so I just guy. There's all these jokes about how band names, and it's like, are they running out of band names? But then clearly there's a lot untapped in neuroscience
that's right.
like they should be looking. And
Yeah, it's a unique name. If you Google the Neuro Farm, we're the only thing that comes up.
I did, Brian. I couldn't find anything, just the band.
Well, that's good. It become a Google search that way.
Yeah, I like that, because sometimes you search for a band, it's like 200 different things, and you gotta search and look through it. It's like crazy. For you, for me, it's easy to find you guys. We're gonna talk about songs. How easy for you is to write a song? Can you write a song any moment you want, anytime you feel like it, or it just has to come in a special place, or are you because you both write songs, right? The two of you.
We work on them together.
Work on them together. So is it easy for you to write a song? I say, I want to just write something today, or say, today is not the day. I don't feel like doing anything. Let's leave it for tomorrow.
I mean, it always depends on the song. Sometimes they'll come together really quickly and easily. Like the song Decay, I remember writing that one really fast. But sometimes, you come up with an idea and you try a whole bunch of different things with it and none of them work. And, it takes months or even years to actually fit all your ideas together into a cohesive song.
Yeah,
Is
the song
the music?
Vampyre.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you if the music is what drives the lyrics, or the way around, or both ways.
Usually the music comes first. Almost always the music will come first, at least an idea. But there's a little bit of a back and forth too. Like sometimes you'll come up with, music and a lyric idea, and then you realize, okay, this really needs a bridge or a different chorus, and then you'll kind of work on them together. So yeah, it's sort of a process of editing and refinement and stuff to wind up with the final product.
Yeah, and I have a running list of like poems that I've written. So whenever I hear, music that either Brian writes or Tim writes, then I try to fit the lyrics onto the music to see what fits.
Yeah, and I have all kinds of old music ideas and lyric ideas just saved on my computer. So yeah, sometimes you just listen to them again and you'll be inspired and say, I think I can make this work.
Have you ever created started with a melody and then you started adding lyrics, and at the end of the song, that song is totally, the melody just changed to a different song, to a totally different melody than the one you started with, or the melody will stay?
It can happen. Usually there's some core idea that stays, whether it's a melody or a rhythm or even just a sound, like some sound on the guitar will inspire me to do something, or some sound. There's usually a core that stays, but everything that's around it can change.
So let's say you finish a song, and then you start thinking about it, maybe tweaking the song a little bit and tweaking, and you say you're never happy with it, and then you say, well, all this tweaking, may just start a new song and forget about it, and just start a totally different song. I don't know. Just thinking if that happens.
Well, so there was one song in particular that we started working on last year. So sometimes songs come together really quickly, like the song Vampyre probably came together in one afternoon. But then there was one song, it was based on an idea of how much I hate social media. So I wrote the lyrics, and then Brian came up with background music, and then we weren't very happy with it, and we kept tweaking it, and we kind of left it alone for a while. And then I think a few months ago when we dug it up and came up with a different melody, actually.
Yeah, I think I changed the music and then you changed the melody on top of that, and it turned into a very different song, a much better song. Yeah.
And then once Tim adds his thing, it's going to be yet another song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try not to mangle anything they've done. I try to, just support and enhance where I feel like you could use it. But, between the two of them with, their songs and writing and Vampyre is a great example. The album Vampyre, the songs on that were generally, I think half of them, you guys were already playing them live in some form or other. Yeah. And then there was another 5 that you had the songs and the basic structures there, but the music, there was a skeleton of the songs were there, and then I was able to go through and then just sort of pack some meat on some of those, and then some put some meat on the bones, and then take the songs you guys were doing live, and then maybe we collaborated a bit and tweaked some things, but the songs were generally there, and but the new things that we're working on since then, I guess since I've joined, where the songs weren't already written in advance, we've kind of did a different path of, just like Brian and talking about, like, he has folders of ideas musically and lyrically. I had musical ideas and I shared with them and said, hey, pick any of these if you want to use them. Let's build a song out of any of these, because I don't write lyrics or sing to save my life, so I have to, I kick it to these. I trust the two of them to to put some words and melodies and structure to my half-baked ideas. So it works out. We
Works out really well. Yeah,
yeah.
really well. So, what could you say is the main thread in your songs? What's the main theme about most of your songs? What do you write about? What
So
things?
the Vampyre album, there's a
Mm.
whole vampire mythology and anthology. Begins with the first biblical vampire, and
Right.
it's a love story, and there's a revolution, and the overthrowing of old power embedded in that album. So that's a whole story. So the next album, actually, we're sort of leaning into the neuroscience aspect. So the songs are actually going to be about different kinds of human conditions and specifically mental disorders.
Which is very common.
Yeah. So we read about, everything.
I was going to ask you about the Bible and stuff. Like, I don't know if you stated, I don't know, vampirism is like a curse dating back from Cain. Is this something that you believe? Something that is in your, I don't know how to say, how to explain. It's something, yeah. Is this something that you believe? What you talk about in your songs, or is something that you just it's a story in your head that you just make up, or just it's a mixture of both things, of something that you believe and something that you just stretch it out a little bit and make it dreamy and dramatic. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's the Vampire album. It was all kind of stories we came up with, just like anyone writing a book or something would come up with a story. But in those characters in the story and the themes of the story, they come from things you felt. You know. So I don't know what a good example is. Like, Decay is about being frustrated with just the lack of power to cause change.
Right.
And I mean, anyone can relate to that. Even the most powerful people in the world can relate to that.
Right.
So even though the characters aren't real in any way, there's that core thread that is something I can relate to.
When you are on stage, do you play all the songs from that album, or some are very hard to replicate?
Some are
I think,
hard.
right?
Yeah, and
We play most.
we play
We
most.
most of Vampire. We play most of the songs on there. There's a few we gravitate towards more.
Yeah, for sure.
To the ones that are a little more we feel like are singles, or the ones that
Right.
for live performance just tend to connect better with an audience, and so a lot of the songs like Decay and even Vampire and
Midnight
Confession
Massacre.
and Midnight Massacre, like those 4 songs I would say are the core songs that we probably include in every set we play.
Yeah.
And then we, songs like Purity or Mastermind and even Kane we've added, and we'll play those as well. And then we have some new, and now we're starting to now include the new songs that no one's heard unless they've seen us play live. Recently,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I listened to I think the 3 full LP albums you put out. The first one was Ghost, 2014, I think it was, right? 2000 Ghosts.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Am I
ago.
right?
Yeah, that was more like us playing around. It wasn't
Right.
even a real band.
I listened to it.
Yeah.
I enjoy listening to it, but there is a big difference between that album and the other 2, especially the last one. I guess I could say.
Oh yeah, now we're a real band.
Yeah, the first album is like the music palette was a little limited, I could say, right? That's the right
Yeah,
word.
for sure.
And I mean, I produced all the albums, and I did not know what I was doing with Ghosts. I was still very much learning how to make an album at that time. So
Yeah, but I enjoyed the album.
cool.
The second album you put out was The Descent in 2019. That's also a concept album, right? The Descent.
Yeah.
It's a story.
That was about the descent of civility into chaos, and I think that was inspired by the Egyptian Revolution, right?
That's one of the songs. There was a lot of revolution. There was a whole, what's the word? Arab Spring was going on, and then Trump was, getting his campaign
The
into
dissent.
gear, and there was a lot of, instability and stuff in the world. So that was all feeding into that.
Okay. The Arab Spring went dead. Nothing happened. Was very hopeful for that, but I guess
Yeah.
no. Nothing to say about that. But the Vampire, like I said, is my favorite album. Didn't put a lot of stuff in there. There were a lot of synthesizers.
Yeah, we really, I mean, we spent a good bit of time because we weren't under any pressure to release it, and then by the time we were really working on the album with me included, we didn't know when the end of the lockdown was going to happen and such. So we really spent, and to some degrees maybe more than we probably anticipated, we spent a lot of time really kind of working on the sounds and the sort of the sonic palette of the album of hey, if I'm going to add my sounds, I want to be consistent and make sure it makes sense with what they had already envisioned and what they were doing. So we did a lot of back and forth, and we did start to get together and in person and really start to review, and then once we started, the thing is that I hadn't done by that point was actually play live with these guys. So that was another aspect of how do we turn this into live? How do I become part of the live band?
Right.
And so we made that happen over time. And then once the album came out, I think that we were, by that point, we were starting to play live, and really I was more or less integrated into the live band as a full member.
I want to say something about the band also that I forgot. It's something I like about your band, and he's not there, is the drummer, Colin. The drums are really heavy, they sound very powerful. The beat, I like that. They're in front of they're not in the back behind the curtains. They're very present, I think. I like that about your band. So
Oh, that's nice. Well, tell Colin you said that.
yeah, tell him. And I wasn't lying. It's the truth.
You'll see the evidence of this video, and you'll know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you prefer doing singles, EPs, or full LPs? Do you like a full album, like make a big story?
Yeah.
You prefer that than just playing just one single, right? You like saying something in 10 songs.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we do release singles, but
But they show up on the album,
yeah. So starting with the Descent and also Vampyre and also the new album, which should hopefully come out next year. We already finished 2 songs, mixed. One song's already mastered. So yeah, we're getting there. So there's an art to writing a story from start to finish and then packaging that story into a complete album. I don't think enough bands do that, and because we still can, and because we have a lot of song ideas. So we'd like to do that, when possible.
Yeah, going back to Pink Floyd, who we mentioned earlier, that's one thing I always loved about them, is they have these big albums like Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall, where it's a story from start to finish, and that's something I always wanted to do. I just like it when it ties into a bigger picture, and each song is more than just a song. It's part of the story.
Right.
And we recognize the songs as they're written or being worked on, that here are the songs that we can envision as singles. If we were thinking, hey, this is what we would hear a DJ play, this is what we could imagine would fit into our live sets, that we feel like they may have a little more of standard song structures that is others we're more familiar with, but we kind of identify those singles, and we did that even with the Vampyre, releasing the singles while we were working on the album, and we're essentially doing that same cycle as mentioned. That for this new album, we kind of identified the four singles that we feel like, hey, let's finish these first. We can release them as we're still finishing the rest of the songs on the album. But I will say that the album is essentially written. The album itself, the songs are all there. We're in that stage, kind of like when I was joining the group during Vampyre, where like half the songs are really well formed and pretty much in demo states, but they're done. They're complete songs. We're just retracking and tweaking the mixes, and then we have half the album that there's more production work that needs to come, but the structures, the songs are there. We have 10 to 11 songs that are ready to go for this album. So it's like we're now just focusing on just kind of doing the final re-recordings and tracking and mixing of these.
Yeah, the concept album is kind of nice too as a writer because it kind of gives you motivation for the next song. Like you'll see kind of a gap in the story. You'll see, okay, we need to tackle this aspect of the story that's missing, and so it really motivates you to get writing on the next song rather than having to come up with some new idea from scratch. You're kind of filling in holes in the story.
I was going to ask you, how did you fall into the Gothic scene in Washington, D.C.? Because your influences are more like, I don't know, post-punk, I don't know, like Joy Division, or like I mentioned before, Susie and the Banshees, Pink Floyd. How did you fall into the goth look? I don't know. Because your music is not goth, I don't see as goth. It has a little touches, but it's not mainly goth, I think. It's something that you fell into because a lot of people love your music that are into goth. Is that the reason? Because I'm thinking of Radiohead. It's not a goth band.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Nothing even similar. How do you fall into those, playing with other bands? They play similar music, but not even close to what you play. I don't know. It's just the way that the clubs in Washington D.C. when you started. That's what the best place for you to play, I guess. What they're looking for, people that are into that Gothic scene, or I don't know, not the costumes, because I don't see you walking around in Washington D.C. dressed the way when you are on stage. I don't think. I'm not sure, but
yeah, in real life,
like you guys will go on the street. No, you're just dressed normal today, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? Did you fall into that scene? Like
there's just
Gothic
a lot
scene?
of. I think there's just. Yes, we mentioned a lot of musical influences where maybe those particular artists aren't goth so much as that, but I think it's the themes and the music itself has Gothic themes throughout. I mean, Vampyre is more or less on the nose if we wanted to talk about a Gothic theme, but I think the appeal of that is that the sum of all of those influences and then what we're putting on the record, I think that just seems to fit right into. I would say it's definitely more into that late '80s alternative. Like again, we could talk about Susie and The Cure and artists, and there's definitely there's darker music influences in there, but we never come out and say we're a goth band. But I think that the Gothic scene has been very open and accepting of what we're doing, and we have a lot of friends in an artist that are performing that are maybe more traditional goth, but we're just doing the music that we enjoy, and it just if you're going to put a category on it, that's just where Gothic rock tends to be the category for us, and it's just nothing,
nothing wrong with that. I mean,
nothing wrong with that. I love a lot of that. I love a lot of Gothic rock.
No.
It's just that we don't think of ourselves and try
Right.
to push the music to that way.
Right.
Um, you know, this new album, as an example, is that Vampyre, just again based on the obvious themes of it and being more gothic themed, even the sound designs and the things, a little more organs and cathedral, and a little more dramatic in that gothic sort of think of a gothic rock opera sense of that's what the album is, the story. But then the new album that we're doing, it's still us, we're still doing the music, but it's actually like, well, we don't have to use organs and so much, like it actually gives us a little freedom, but we still feel that
Right.
you mentioned post-punk, like very much that sort of vibe. We still that's just in all of us, that it's going to come out no matter what we do. But not to overtly say we're doing gothic rock albums.
I
It's
mean, like you don't decide, like, oh, we got to do a goth song. It's not
yeah, right,
something you
Right,
think
yeah.
about.
right.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of bands and artists that they have a lane and they like that lane.
Right.
I guess we just we don't necessarily stick into the lane of that.
Just the way you love doing. You just do what you like doing. You love
Yeah.
music. You want to do it. You want to
I
repeat.
mean,
Yeah.
the guitars and the vocals and things that are very in the synth heavy stuff. There's a lot of elements that are certainly going to be in the goth rock arena, but I don't think we've ever gone into it saying,
Yeah.
let's write the next goth rock song and
Right.
it's I don't know. Vampyre is definitely, there's a lot more dramatic pieces on that album, but it's because it's a story and it serves the story of what it is and the lyrics, and I think we're going to see with the new album and things coming in the future, it's going to be it's going to be us. You're going to recognize obviously the voices of these two is a
Yeah,
huge,
they're
huge
very,
part
very.
of them.
Yeah, I could listen to you guys and I know who you are because of your voice and the way you sing. There's no mistake when I listen to your band. But like you said, I think I was listening to some goth French band, and I think the Neuro Farm came up after listening to it. So I don't know. Yeah, I was listening to something in Spotify, some French goth band, and when it was done, your band came up.
Oh, that's
right.
cool.
Yeah. Just so you know, that's how I found out about you guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
You like the Neuro Farm? They're not from France.
There's far worse genres and artists that we would be related to, but that wouldn't make sense. So
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah. Who's the most risk taker of the band? The one that's not afraid of doing things or coming up with ideas and being very, like, this is my idea, I want to do it. Or there is no such a thing. You got to agree, the four of you. Or
I think there's some checks and balances that we have in general. Like, I don't know if we've ever really said no to something outright. I think we've said, hey, let's work on that idea.
Yeah.
Let's just do something with that. And that certainly is going to happen. But I don't think we've ever run into something where we had opposing ideas that just, we just, I think we just all get along and work together so easily that I don't think it's, I don't know if I ever go out on a ledge too much. I think it's,
I don't think so.
that's why you guys get along very well, seems like.
Yeah, and I think this band works so well because we have similar tastes in music. And like you said, we don't fit neatly into the gothic rock genre. We all like interesting and beautiful music. So as long as the music is, true and beautiful and interesting, that's all we need. And then we go back and forth, like there's never been a time when someone would come up with something and others would just reject the idea. It's always like, how do we make this better? And then with each round of reiteration, it gets better and better, and that's the end result.
It's a good thing. Seems like you guys are gonna be together for a while. You have no.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't think we have egos to deal with and anything
Yeah.
like that. I don't think anyone
Yeah.
has an ego that what they're doing is
You
always right.
you
Uh,
don't you
I
don't
mean,
you don't complain. We're not gonna be never gonna be famous. No,
yeah, I just as I'll use an example of on the Vampire album, the song Confession. We're like talking about there's a guitar lead in Confession, and Brian was like, I don't know if I want to do it because we don't have guitar leads, we don't have
Right.
talk about Dave Gilmour as being an influence, but it's like
Yeah.
I was just like, go for it, no,
Right.
with the guitar.
You can do
a
it,
guitar.
Brian.
I'm not a guitarist. I'm just
Let's
like
do a
you
let's do a
you
15
do the
minute
guitar
solo
lead.
at the end. 15
That's
minute solo at the end.
yeah. So sometimes we just push each other. Even it's
Yeah.
not it's more of encouraging and not saying no. It's more of just yes, do more of that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
That's a cool thing. What about your videos? Who's the videographer? Are you guys involved in the videos you make at all, or you have some guy that comes up with the story, or it's a collaboration between the four of you? How do you do the videos?
So the lyric videos were all made by Tim.
Okay.
He's sort of our resident graphics artist. And the two movie-like videos that we have, Vampire and Midnight Massacre, that was shot by Taylor. Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, Taylor. I can never pronounce his last name, so
You tell
Taylor.
her.
Wes Carver. Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wes Carver.
Yeah.
He's I don't know how did we find him, but
Through Alchemical Records.
oh, okay, yeah, we found Taylor, and we just said, hey, you've done videos. He had a reel of videos he's done for other bands, and we came up with a loose story because again with the Vampire videos specifically, there was a story behind them. So we just had a basic story, but we just wanted really visuals to put together for that, and we did Vampire first as an actual video. That's the first full video we did off of the Vampire album, and then we just got him again to do Midnight Massacre with us because we liked working with him, and we kind of just, I don't know if there was so much a direction. We basically had basic ideas, and we just said, this is what we want to do. And then we just, pulled our resources together to make it happen. So.
Oh, New Dawn Fades, you made that.
Oh well, New Dawn Fades. That's that performance. Yeah, we did that ourselves here, actually, in our rehearsal space. We set up some cameras, and we did a bunch of takes, and then I edited it together, and so the New Dawn Fades video out there, which is I guess it's the only cover we do. We play that live a lot, and we get great response actually. So try to do that in the style of the Black and White and the Joy Division, and obviously trying to mimic a little bit of that. But
everybody knows that song. How important for you is the album covers? Is there something that really are detailed about it, or something that you want to show? Or you really don't mind much? Also,
I think the funny thing with Vampire, that album cover itself, it sort of happened by accident because we released Midnight Massacre as a first single, and I created a lyric video for it. And in the lyric video, I was using a lot of footage of things and making things look like, there was just blood and coming in and out, and then I had that overlaid our photo of us, which was our first official photo that we took of the four of us since I had joined the band. I think it was in October of that 2020 we took that photo, and then when we released the single, I had this lyric video, and I was like, oh, that looks cool when the blood is coming over the photo, and then it was one of those, it just kind of like became a theme. Then every lyric video we did, we used the same photo, but then had a different color and a different thing on it that we were going with, purple for Decay, and then Purity was blue, and Confession was like another sort of What did we use for that? I guess it was a little.
I'm trying to remember.
Anyway, but either way, when it came time to do the actual album artwork, it was just like, wow, that looks really cool, and then that incorporated throughout the CD art and the album art and everything that's inside. And you know, we're going through the same thing where we're looking at ideas for this next album cover, and that's all I could speak to because prior to me joining, somebody else was doing their album covers, so I don't know.
Yeah, we commissioned an artist to do the Descent album cover, and Ghost. That's not a great album cover, but that was a picture I took at the French embassy, actually.
Oh, really?
Of all places. Yeah, it was an interesting story. They had a fire thrower at one of the events I attended. So then I took a long exposure picture, and that became. Actually, there's that picture somewhere. In
No,
this room.
no wonder the French Goth radio.
Oh,
you
yeah.
discovered us through the French
Yeah,
Goth.
it has some connection.
There's some metadata that was in that
Yeah.
photo that somehow got into the algorithms.
Should I listen to 51 Peg, Tim? Is it worth?
I would say go for it. Yeah, 51 Peg.
I have to
So
listen. I haven't listened to it.
we're a little more. I guess I would say more industrial rock. I would say it's a little heavier. You know, maybe more like a Nine Inch Nails meets. But we also have Pink Floyd and other influences and things. But it's but we've played shows together. We've done several shows together.
Because I've seen that, yeah.
We've done one show together since I've joined Neuro Farm, where I played in both bands on the same night. So that was fun.
And these people are cooler than the other band members from 51 Peg? You love these guys better, or
Oh no, there's no. No, I love. No.
Tell the truth. Tell the
I
truth.
love all my children the same.
Okay, they're the same. It's the same family. Long. And the family.
I've known the guys in 51 Peg a lot longer. I've known them since the late 90s, so I have certainly a longer history with those guys. Though I actually joined that band just like these guys. I joined that band after the formation of the band, so I wasn't part of the original lineup. But all the bands I was part of the original lineup over the years. They've all gone away. So I joined other bands when those bands go when they stop, I guess.
I'm gonna take a listen to this band. 51 Peg. Sounds good. So how is it set up on stage? Does it take a long time for you guys to put all your gadgets together, like in a show? How long does it take?
We've streamlined it pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of shows where we get that 15-minute window to set up, and we certainly have no problems with that. We have so we don't have any amps on stage. Our drums are a V drum setup, so it's electronic drums.
Right.
We have our own in-ear system on stage. We have most of that stuff plugged up already, so we really just set some of our gear on stage and kind of plug in, and we're pretty much ready to go. I mean, there's, you know, it's between the four of us. I mean, I think we've gotten pretty efficient about it.
Yeah, we're pretty well-oiled machine.
Organized. You're organized.
Yeah, ditching the amps was a really, really good move. I got so tired of carrying giant amps everywhere.
Yeah.
We're not in a position where we can have like roadies or anything. So.
So how many guitars do you have, Brian? How many guitars do you usually carry? Couple?
To shows, I just bring the one, but I actually only have one electric and then an acoustic guitar as well. I'm not much of a gearhead, really.
What about you, Rebecca? One violin?
Oh, I have a lot. So, let's see. I have one acoustic violin, and I have two electric 5-string violins that I use for my shows. I used to have another, but I sold it. And I have an acoustic cello, an electric cello, actually 2 electric cellos.
Oh.
And yeah, that's about it. And also, I bought a little synth right before Tim joined the band, but then it became pointless since
Worth it. Yeah, it was worth it.
yeah, he's our synth player, but it's sitting there.
And then just for an emergency, if Tim doesn't show up, maybe you can.
Yeah, if something happens to Tim, I have a backup plan. But please don't die.
No, yeah.
So sick.
So yeah.
I was going to ask you, Rebecca, when you're singing, your vocals are very operatic sometimes, beautiful vocals, a dramatic voice. Is there time to think about other things while you sing? You put your mind in, what is that guy doing behind the...
Oh yeah, for
Is that kind of for
sure.
everything, or you're so much into music that you don't know what's going on?
Depends. So sometimes I really get into it, but our songs are so well rehearsed at this point. Sometimes, if somebody looks interesting in the audience,
Right.
it becomes such an automatic process in my head that I can look at the crowd and see what they're doing, and then sometimes I even like play with the audience,
Yeah.
sort of, off stage while I'm singing.
So you got time for that stuff. Because I speak with some other musicians and vocalists, and they say that they just don't remember much about the show. When they come out of the stage, they don't have much. If the next day they are into another thing, they don't know what really happened. They think it's just like a business thing. I don't know.
Yeah, so we tend to have actually really fun fans. They engage with us, and there's this one fan that knows all of our lyrics, and we have like this little routine that we do. Um, yeah, it's really sweet, and we like to get to know our fans because otherwise, what's the point of playing shows? We
Right.
can just play music at home if it weren't for our fans.
Right. You play a lot, many shows in 2022, but also this year you've been doing well, playing different shows.
Yeah,
What's
we're
that pie shop in DC? What is that, a small club? Do they give you cakes and pies or nothing?
they give us pies.
They used to.
Yeah.
Well,
Eh.
No,
they give us tickets.
They give us tickets to get
Well,
that.
in the old
Yeah,
days,
in the old days, they used to
they give you
a
whole
Oh,
pies
yeah,
in the
yeah.
green room.
green.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? So it's
Yeah.
Savory and sweet. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, they still have there's a pie shop that's downstairs, and then the upstairs is the venue. But it's a nice venue. It's very nice.
It is.
Very good
because
sound
yes,
and nice.
somebody told me it was a nice venue. I never been there.
It's very cool.
Well, it's a cool
Uh,
place. They told me.
Mhm.
Hmm. So you're gonna be in July 28th at the Dark Castle Festival in Louisville, Kentucky. There's a lot of bands playing, no?
Yeah.
How many days? 2, 3 days? I don't.
It's a 2 night, Friday and Saturday, 28th and 29th. We're playing the 28th, but we're staying in town and we're going to check out the bands on both nights and before we're coming back the next day.
Oh, that's cool. I know a band is playing there, Talking to Shadows from Baltimore.
Oh yeah,
Okay, we know that.
yeah.
I interviewed them the other
Oh,
couple
okay, cool.
months ago. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Be there. They told me you were a wonderful band. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. We've done one. We've only done one show with them, and it was at the pie shop
Yeah.
of all places.
We love the pie shop. It's one of my favorite venues in DC. It's not huge. It's probably medium-sized DC standard, but the sound system is just fantastic. And once you book a show there, they treat you with such respect. So yeah, I just love that venue.
It's cool. I have a question for you, for the three of you. I always ask, especially I ask the heavy metal bands, death metal bands. And I'm gonna ask the same question to you. You probably, as if you didn't see my interviews, it's good because then you don't. It's gonna catch you by surprise. I'm gonna name 4 pop artists, and you're gonna tell me from 1 to 4, 1 being the one you like the most, and 4 the one you like the least. Or you can also say I don't like any of them. Okay.
Okay.
So you get from 1 to 4. I'm gonna name them. Number 1 will be Billie Eilish. Number 2 is gonna be Pink. Number 3 is Lady Gaga. Okay. And number 4 is gonna be Rihanna. And you're gonna tell me from 1 to 4 which one you like the most, or you dislike. Billie Eilish, Pink, Lady Gaga, and Rihanna. If you don't like any of them, I got more.
Oh no,
So we would probably answer this differently. Do you want to go first?
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of any of them. Like Lady Gaga had some fun stuff,
Okay.
but
You can tell me you don't like any of them because some people tell me I don't like any of them. I say, okay.
yeah, I mean, I don't listen to any of them. I've heard some songs here and there, of course, but yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Fine with me. I'll just
Yeah.
write it down so I remember.
Oh,
yeah?
you have.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Tell
Oh,
me.
he loves all of them.
Well, well, let's take a step back.
Okay.
I have, yes, I've listened to a lot of them. So
Huh.
I'm not going to go in. This is a whole other thing, another music thing. But
Right.
I do lullaby covers of popular music.
True.
So I make lullaby instrumentals for parents to play for the babies. It's called Jammy Jams, and I've been doing that for about 13 years. So my business partner and I, we do a lot of pop. So we've done a lot of music by all four of
Really?
those artists. Matter of fact, we did an entire album of Lady Gaga lullabies called Goo Goo Gaga. And I'm not making it. You can look it up.
Believe it.
And so I have to say that's probably that would be my number one.
Lady Gaga. Okay.
I would say Billie Eilish is my number two. I
Okay.
really do like her songs. It's interesting when you're learning other people's music and breaking it down to their elements, especially the melodies.
Okay.
And you really get to appreciate where maybe you don't appreciate the package or the pop music part of it. But there is a lot of artistry that's involved. And so for me, then I think Pink and Rihanna, I could probably switch those back and forth. But I do like all four of them.
Okay.
Because I've not personally worked on their music, but I have deconstructed their music. And so for me, yeah.
That's surprising. It's surprising. It's not surprising Lady Gaga because most of the vocalists, heavy metal and death metal singers, they like Lady Gaga. I don't know.
Yeah, I respect her
She's
performance. a lot, too.
she's amazing performer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
and
is.
Pianist and everything. Like
Oh,
she's,
yeah, she's talented.
she's
No
extremely
question.
talented. Yeah, I see that and appreciate that. No matter the style of music, I think another thing is that we didn't go into, but it's like I think we all listen to all sorts of genres and styles of music.
Yeah.
Right.
Pop,
Okay.
gets its But I also did say I grew up with Duran Duran, so
Yeah.
I
Okay.
guess I had a
Makes
little
sense.
bit more.
But Tim, you're fired. Okay.
I'm bringing all the pop sensibilities in this, man. What are you talking about?
Okay, Rebecca, tell me, is anybody of those four you like a little bit or not? Tell me the truth.
So
You like some of them.
Probably Billie Eilish. I don't. There's certain aspects to her songs that I do like, and I like how she sings. I really like that vocal style. But the music, I think it's mostly the production of her songs that's a little mainstream. But I think she's really talented, and I think that of the other three as well. So I respect them, but I wouldn't say I listen to them. But yeah, they're all great musicians.
Yeah, you wouldn't play covers of them in your shows for sure.
Well, look at our poker face. You'll never know.
Okay. Oh, that's wonderful. So let me tell you, I really like this band. Usually, I interview a lot of bands. I try to interview a lot of bands, and a lot of, to be sincere, a lot of bands I listen one time to their record. I like it, but I don't listen anymore. Just one time, I like the band, and that's it. And look, that Vampyre record is driving me nuts. I've been listening many, many times to that shit. While I'm working, while I cut the grass, while I do many things. I do the treadmill. I'm listening to that record. So
Yeah, thanks.
I
Well,
like the band.
thank you.
I really enjoy the band. I really do. I
Thanks.
really enjoy the band. It's something, sometimes it goes in and comes out right away. This one stays in for a while,
Aww.
Yeah. So
You.
yeah, I like the band. And if the new record they got 10, 11 songs already set up, or and I guess it's gonna be a good album. It has to be. There won't be
I
any
think it's gonna be better.
better. Okay, even better. If it's better than the last one, it's good. Then it's gonna be beautiful. Yeah. They will still be playing, thinking about Lady Gaga, but it will be playing Neuro Farm.
Track 7. Just think about track 7. I don't know what that was going to be.
Okay.
You'll hear it. You'll hear the Gaga.
All right. So I really enjoy talking to them. We could be talking about other things. I don't know anything about neuroscience. So maybe I can leave it for next time. We can talk about that. And we could talk about that.
Yeah, I love neuroscience.
Well, I think with the
Pretty
next
sure how
album,
we just keep quiet, don't say anything, just go like this, and that's it. You guys keep talking for a couple hours, and I'll just say yes.
well, the next album, since it is going to be a lot more related to neuroscience, I think it would be the perfect time to talk about it.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
At least I'll learn something, you know.
Our music is beautiful and educational.
Educational, and the music is very good. I like it. I like it.
Thank you.
Is there anything you guys like to share about the band or about yourselves? Or is there anything that you have that you want to say besides this interview is a piece of like what perceptions is there any wrong perceptions that people have about you guys? Like they think one thing and you are totally different. It's like you encounter people that have the wrong idea about you.
I'm a big cat person with my own cat, even though I have a dog sleeping on me and we have dogs here. But I'm a cat person, so I just want to give people the wrong idea.
You're into dogs. I got
I'm a dog person. I'm a cat person.
I got two dogs upstairs. Two dogs upstairs.
What kind of dogs?
They're probably sleeping by now, so they don't make any noise. I don't hear anything.
Aw, such good dogs.
Dogs are the best.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on with goth and metal. They like cats more than dogs. I don't understand.
Yeah. Dog people.
I think it's because if you have a cat, you can leave them home, right? I mean, you can speak to that, but I had cats too.
Yeah.
It's much easier to have a nightlife if you have
true.
cats. So when we got dogs, it was definitely like walking into it. We knew that it required more efforts, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, because they say sometimes that it's cats. They're very similar. They got their own personality. They're introvert. I don't know. Dogs are more friendly, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, look at this guy right here.
See, they want love.
Constant.
Aww.
Yeah.
But Tim loves his cat.
No, cats are okay. I had cats when I was younger, so I went to the store and the cat will follow me back and forth.
Aww.
Yeah, I had a cat like that. I just want to say, check the Neuro Farm's YouTube channel. You're gonna find a lot of videos, nice music. And if you go to Bandcamp, I think you can find merchandise also about the band, some cool T-shirts, and some cassettes. I think also they got
cassettes, stickers,
posters, dogs for sale. They got it. No, Bandcamp is the best place to find about about the band, I guess. No, what's the best? Somebody that doesn't know much about the Neuro Farm. What do you think they should do? Go to the Bandcamp first? Go to YouTube? Go to Spotify or one of those crazy places? What do you think?
Any of them. Spotify, everything's on Spotify, and Bandcamp has everything. But a lot of people like using Spotify, but all of our merch, also designed by Tim, are on Bandcamp, and then we're on all the socials.
Yeah, any streaming service, whether it's Apple Music, Amazon Music, any of those streaming services, we have all our albums on there.
Yeah, I like that the Neuro 3 logo T-shirt. It's a nice T-shirt.
Oh, thanks.
Cool. Yeah. So we could Tell people to buy it. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
look cool. You can wear the Sigur Rós T-shirt, but you can wear also the Neuro Farm shoes.
Yes.
So I really enjoy talking to the Neuro Farm. It's a great band. I like the guitar. I like the way she sings and plays the violin. And Tim, which is a great addition to the band.
I'm there.
He has no plans of leaving anytime soon. So that's a good thing. Don't go away. And we got the drummer, which he's gonna be present next time because he's not.
Yeah.
So, and that makes a big that's the missing piece. The 4-piece,
Mm-hmm.
a great band, let me tell you. So I gotta just thank you all of you, the 3 of you, for showing up on a Sunday, which is beautiful day today. So there was no need to show up, but maybe next time, if it's a rainy day, we can talk again instead of
Yeah.
and you
Thank you
tell
so
me about the
much.
new album and about the new projects and stuff. So I just gonna thank you for the opportunity to talk to me, which is I feel important when I talk to people that know more than I do.
Oh,
So
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
thanks a
you.
lot.
yeah, I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next week with a new interview, and probably nothing better than this. So it's not gonna get better than this interview. If you want to see the next one, it's fine. But if you just keep up, and this is the best I can do. I'm sorry. So see you next week. Thank you, and thanks to the Neuro Farm.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Thank you so much. Take care.